Welcome all. Today our topic is number system. It plays a vital role in numerical analysis. Today is the introduction part. We go to the definition first. It is a very bookish definition. It says that a number is a mathematical object used in counting and measuring. We will see in due course of this particular class that there are different types of numbers. There are numbers which are complex numbers, real numbers, integers, whole numbers, natural numbers, rational numbers, irrational numbers. Now, if we get few other numbers as output after taking input of few numbers, then these numbers are obtained using different numerical operations. From there, higher end versions will come out in numerical analysis. Next, we come to the types of numbers. As I mentioned that complex number, I guess most of you are aware of this type of number. If not, let me just tell you that complex numbers is actually the superset of all the other types of numbers. That means real numbers also fall under the complex numbers. Now, complex number consists of two parts. One is the real number part and the other is the imaginary part. That particular number, which is the imaginary part, is denoted with a small I, which is actually the square root of -1. Next, we have real numbers. They can be positive, negative, zero, fractional, rational, irrational, anything. Next, we come to rational numbers. Rational numbers are denoted in different forms. In few books, you'll find that it is denoted by capital Q and capital R denotes the real numbers. Now, rational number, what does it mean? Rational number is any such number which can be expressed in the form of m by n or p by q. That is a fractional part it can be written in this form, where of course you have to keep in mind that if we write it in the form of p by q, both p and q are from the integer set, but specifically q, that is the denominator, is not equal to 0. If we have q equal to 0, in that case we cannot say that it is a rational number. That is, in fact, any number divisible by 0 is undefined, not even infinity. Many of us get confused with this thing. Next, we come across irrational numbers. Any number which cannot be expressed in the form of p by q. For an example, all of us have dealt with the number pi. Pi is such a number which is non-terminating, and also the numbers do not come in a proper order or in a repetition form. So it is an irrational number. Next, actually we have two such set of numbers. One is the set of natural numbers. Next is the set of whole numbers. Set of natural numbers are all the positive integers only starting from 1 plus 1 till positive infinity. Only the inclusion of 0 to this set will give us the set of whole numbers. Next, we come across set of integers. Integers can be positive and negative, obviously starting from -infinity to +infinity. Next again, fractions can be written in the form of numerator and denominator, where m is the numerator and n is the denominator. Under fractions, we have two such subcategory. One is the fixed point number. Next is the floating point number. These are in general used for computer science people. They are more concerned with this. So a brief definition and example of a fixed point number is given over here. Please look to the slide. And for a floating point number, a brief definition and an example is given over here. Next, we come across the set of real numbers. As I already mentioned that what are the different types of numbers, real number set is the superset of whole numbers, natural numbers, integers, rational and irrational numbers. So here please look to the PPT. Here you will find that the real number set is consisting of rational as well as irrational number. Irrational has been separated completely. Rational number has few other subsets. What they are? They are set of integers. Any rational number where the denominator is 1, we get it as the form of an integer. It can be positive, negative. Under integer, we have whole numbers, that is positive integers starting from 0 till positive infinity is whole number. And under whole numbers, we start from 1, leaving out 0. We have the set of natural numbers. Again, this particular PPT describes the set of complex number as the superset of real as well as the imaginary, right? Real we have already discussed. The imaginary part falls under complex. So the complex becomes the actual superset of all the numbers. Now we come across to few terms which is precision and accuracy. Again, if we go by the definition, precision is the measure of how closely individual measurements agree with each other, right? And accuracy is how closely individual measurements with the correct value, right? So please look to the 4 diagrams given over here. In the first diagram, see that the 3 arrows, none of them are close to the bullseye. Bullseye means the red spot. So there is absolutely low accuracy. All the 3 arrows are separated from each other, so there is low precision as well. In the second figure, although none of them are targeting the bullseye, the red part of the circle, but the 3 arrows are close to each other. Therefore, there is high precision but low accuracy. For the third diagram, see, all of them are inside the bullseye, that is the red circle, but they are not closely clubbed together. So there is high accuracy but low precision. And the final one, it is pointing at the bullseye. Also, all of them are clubbed together. So high accuracy as well as high precision here. Next, we come across to a very important portion of numerical analysis. If you do not understand the concept of significant figure and decimal, it will be really problematic for you to get the exact answer. In fact, if you not give the perfect answer, marks will surely be deducted. So, significant figure plays a vital role in numerical analysis. See that the pencil is pointing somewhere between 4.7 and 4.8. Now, it can be either 4.72 or it can be 4.73, right? Just think that if you have scored marks in a particular examination, say mathematics itself, and the teacher says that you will get any marks between 72 and 73. What will you choose? Definitely 73, not 72 surely. So here, how does the teacher understand that whether you can get 72 or 73 depends upon this significant figure or digit. Now, please look here. We have divided the significant digits into 2 halves. One is non-zero digits that are always significant. So here, look to the examples. 22 has 2 significant digits. 22.3 has 3 significant digits, right? So 0.3 also has significance. Next, the problem will be a little complicated when 0 will be incorporated into the numerical value. How do it create a problem? Please look to the 3 subdivisions given here. First is that 0 is placed before other digits. In this case, they are not significant. So here, look, the example is 0.046. So, 46 is the 2 significant digits present here. 0.0 since we are having this. So therefore, obviously, we cannot have 0.046 as 4 significant figure. We'll have just as 2 significant figure. Next is 0 is placed between other digits are always significant. 4009, obviously 00 we cannot eliminate and say 49, something like that. So obviously the zeros are significant over there. Next is when 0 is placed after other digits but behind a decimal point. In that case also it is of significance. So see the examples given over here. 7.90 if we are mentioning specifically, that means it has got significance. But if we had simply written 7.9, in that case we have not written 0, so there wouldn't have been much significance here. So here there lies the difference between writing a normal number just as it is, or simply remembering where the significance lies and how to represent a number. So please do not get confused between these things. In maths, they play a lot of importance. 0 definitely does. Okay, now look here. Example given over here, we have 4 to 5 different numbers written over here. First number is 0.01204. The 2 zeros marked in red are your leading zeros. For the next 2 numbers, 0.450 and 300 are the trailing zeros. And for a collective number where we have 0.1234560, the first 0 is the leading 0 and the last 0 is the trailing 0. Over here in the example, as I mentioned in the previous slide, the first A subdivision where I have mentioned zeros placed before other digits are not significant. Here also you see 0.0701. The 2 zeros do not play any significance over here. So the first significant figure is 7, next is 0 and the last is 1. Okay. Here I have given few rules for counting significant digits over here. Please check them. Just go to the last one. Last particular example. The previous ones all of us can understand. Not much difficult definitely. For the last one, I have mentioned that 19, then after that we have 4 zeros equal to 2 significant digits. Okay, now you'll say, why have I missed out the other numbers? Is it possible that 19, after that 4 zeros is equal to just 19? Then someone will give me 1,90,000 and say, they'll just pay me 19 rupees and say they have paid me 1,90,000. Is that possible? No, of course not. I am saying what? Over here, this particular number 1,90,000 can be represented either in a 2 significant digit format to up to 6 significant digit format. How do we write that? In case of 1,90,000, what we can do is we can simply write 19 into 10 to the power something. What is that? Please do answer. 10 to the power 4. So here we will have 2 significant digits if we write something into 10 to the power something. So this is a case of 2 significant digits, and obviously the entire number is a 6 significant number. Here are few more examples where you can see the varying significance which can be written. In where we do not have zeros, obviously we get the exact significant values, but where we have zeros, we can have a variation from 1 to 5, 2 to 5, 4 to 5, 3 to 6 as given, where we have marked them in green color. Okay. Next is these things we have already discussed in the previous in the previous theory that we have discussed. These are just the examples. Please look to them. Here all of these we have already covered up. You can simply understand which is the significant one and which aren't. A number written in the decimal format. In that case, how do we represent it? Please see here the number is written as 0.0050. So here, since we have written a decimal number, right, a fractional number which is less than 1, so here the exponent will be a negative number. So 10 to the power, we cannot have 10 square, 10 cube or 10 to the power 4. We will have either 10 to the power minus 1 or 10 to the power minus 2 or 10 to the power minus 3 or so on. So here, since we have 0.005, so 5 comes after 3 places of decimal. So here we will write 5.0 into 10 to the power minus 3, where 5.0 gives us a 2 significant figure. Similar example is given in the next one as well. Few more such examples. Please look to the PPT. You will be able to understand them. MSD and the LSD. Right. So the most significant digit and the least significant digit. Obviously, the change in the most significant digit will increase or decrease the value of the number, and the least significant digit although has the least effect on its change of values. We try to write a number in any form such as a decimal number or a hexadecimal number, binary number or any format. If A is the number A1, A2, A3, A4, this is the sequence of digits, and B is the base, that is either decimal or hexadecimal, then we will write the number. See the last line of the particular example sheet. A3, A2, A1, A0 can be written as A3 into B to the power 3 plus A2 into B to the power 2 plus A1 into B to the power 1 and A0 into B to the power 0. B to the power 0 or anything to the power 0 is actually 1. When we are representing a decimal number, in that case, we consider from the end side, from the left hand side, obviously 1000, 100, 10 unit. After the decimal point, 1 by 10, 1 by 100, 1 by 1000 and 1 by 10,000, so on so forth.